Our elected officials here this evening. We have Representative Sarah Unsicker. She's been extremely helpful in our campaign, and we thank her so much for that. We have the County Executive, Dr. Sam Page, in the building. And we also have the transformational prosecuting attorney of St. Louis County. Give it up for Wesley Bell. And I was in student government at Harris-Stowe, so I count y'all as elected officials. We got student government at SLU and WashU in the building. Give it up for them as well. All the work y'all do advocating for students does not go unnoticed. So like I said, let's get it started. Right now I'm going to introduce a student leader here.
We had a robust conversation about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about what does youth voter engagement look like. What does voter engagement look like in the days of voter ID laws, voter roll purges? As we know, our great sister down in the state of Georgia, Stacey Abrams, has really been leading the fight, elevating that work when it comes to voter access, voting right access. And we had a robust conversation about what does that look like in the state of Missouri. And one of the big things here is looking at, why are we creating barriers and bounds for folks to vote? The one thing that will take away the Republican establishment here in the state, the one thing that keeps youth voice from being in Jeff City, from being in Capitol Hill in DC, the one thing that would take down, we're not going to say his name, let's just say I'm not the same Eric as another Eric on the ballot. The one who is not engaging with the community, the one who is not being present or reaching out to youth voters, the one who's not been charitable or really been community focused at all, but truly about self. And I am proud to say that Trudy Bush Valentine is the complete opposite of that. Someone who, in spite of whatever the result will be on Tuesday night, will be rolling her sleeves up in the community, supporting folks each and every step of the way.
My name's John Valentine. I'm one of Trudy's 6 kids, and I have the pleasure tonight to introduce you to my mom, Trudy Bush Valentine. My mom has been the bedrock of our family. She has raised us through tough and heartbreaking times. Through the loss of my dad when I was 10 years old, and through the loss of my brother Matt just 2 years ago. Our family motto is all for one and one for all. That each individual acts for the benefit of the group, and that the group acts for the benefit of each individual, because we are all in this together. She has inspired us to live a life of purpose and service. She has taught us that you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Most people just talk about what's going wrong in our world today. My mom has the courage and the guts to get up, stand up, and do what's right. That's why she's the best candidate for senator of this great state of Missouri. Mom, I'm so damn proud of you. Yeah. Woo! So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Missouri's next senator, my mom, Trudy Bush Valentine.
John, you make me cry. I want to introduce Helena, my future daughter-in-law, already my daughter. John and she are getting married in December. And I want to introduce you to Blake Valentine, my incredible son too. The other 3 kids couldn't make it tonight. I know they'll be with us. They were all sitting around the table with us tonight. My daughter is still taking care of her children, and the other 2 guys were doing something else. Thank you so much for being with me. I I love you, Blake. I love you, my family. You are everything to me, and I love you, John Freeze. John Freeze and I met 7 years ago. We were both widowed. John has been my strength and my support, and you know how much I love you, John. And to so many people here, like Kevin Schrader, people that I've gotten to know, people that have supported us, to our team that's here, that has been huge. If we win this race, we win this as a team that has worked together every single day, trying to get the word out that we will represent the state of Missouri, that we're not in this for power or money or ego, but we're in this to serve the people of Missouri and to keep our democracy strong. I love you so much, and Blake, I hope that I've been that good of a mother to you, but you kids have been my life. It's great to be with all of you in St. Louis, my favorite city in the world. And this is such an exciting event, and thank you all for being here. And I love seeing all different people here. We are so much better as a diverse and inclusive community. We all have to work together, and we have to stand up for each other, and we have to come together, and we have to learn from each other, because that's what America is about. I've met many of you, and I'm going to bore you once more with who I am. So, I'm Trudy Valentine. I'm a nurse, I'm a mother of 6, I'm a grandmother, I'm a lifelong learner, I'm a 4th generation Missourian. I love Missouri. It's the only state I have ever lived in. We have a home in St. Louis, and we have a farm in Montgomery County. And I care deeply about the people of Missouri. And again, I want to serve the people of Missouri. And I am the woman who is going to stop Eric Schmidt. Making it to the United States Senate. And I'm getting more personal the closer we get. And I haven't spent my life trying to be elected to a public office. I never thought about going into politics. But after I saw the divisions in our country, after I saw the January 6th insurrection, after I kept hearing the lies and the hatred, I thought it's time I stood up for exactly the things that John had said, because we've always cared about people in Missouri. Our home has always been open to everyone, because I'm a nurse and I care deeply about others. And I felt that everything, our hard times that we have gone through in our lives, has really led me to this point that I can serve in a bigger way, and that I can be stronger, because I'm not afraid anymore. When you go through tough times, you get stronger. As a nurse, healing and helping others in times of need, and nursing is a job, isn't just a job, it's a way of life, and every single person that's in here that's a nurse knows that. Just like every teacher that teaches, every police officer, everyone that's a first responder, everything and all we do, it's a way of life for all of us. And I'm running for the United States Senate because Washington is broken and is full of too many career politicians like Eric Schmidt. We don't need more career politicians. We need people with common sense who know how to heal. We need a nurse in the United States Senate, the first ever. And I am not in this for ego or power or money. I can't be bought. I won't be taking corporate PAC money. I won't trade stocks in office. And I will publish my schedule so you know who I'm meeting with and who I'm not every single day. I will be nobody's senator for yours. And I know that you are here because you know that our democracy is at stake in this election. And there are other things that we're worried about, other issues that I hear all over Missouri. And I'm going to talk about a couple. First, I want to make sure that people have the freedom to choose and make their own health care decisions, and that includes decisions about abortion and birth control. And even in the cases of rape or incest, we cannot take away a right that women have had for 50 years. Women and everyone still must move forward with more autonomy and more equality.
Yes.
And I also want to be very clear, because I've been around Missouri, I've been into the neighborhoods around Missouri and Kansas City. I've learned so much from the people that live in those areas. I will always get back to those areas, but no, I will also always be in touch with the mayors, with the state reps, with the state senators, because they will know their constituents better than I will. I know we need to reduce the price of basic necessities, and we need to make college more affordable for everyone. Great and accessible education for every child in Missouri. And we need 5-day school weeks, and we need to make sure that our kids and our teachers are safe in school. In rural Missouri, they can't afford keeping their schools open, many of them, for 5 days a week, so they're going down to a 4-day week. We need to pay teachers more. Our teachers are teaching our kids to go to college. Teachers need to be able to send their own kids to college because of what they're doing for us. More union jobs. We need a stronger middle class. Union jobs give good benefits. They make their companies safe. They give unbelievable retirement packages to people. They are the backbone of our country, and they can live the American dream. And more people should be living the American dream. But we also need to protect and to go to all of our small businesses, because they are the fabric and heart of our communities. We all must support and go into small businesses and give them the business that they need. Our country is at a crossroads. Now more than ever, we must work together, and we must talk together, and we must be together. Republicans, independents, and Democrats. And we must stand for compassion, for integrity, for honesty, and for decency. And we must protect and defend our democracy with everything we've got. Because it's about the next generations, but it's about my kids, my grandkids, great-grandkids, all the way down the line. Young people, get involved. Eric, Student Government Association President, get involved. I'm so happy I've been able to be on the board of St. Louis University and gotten to know these incredible kids that have so much to offer. So please tell your friends to vote. And early voting is still going on for one more day, and then we have the big day on Tuesday. And finally, let's make some history in Missouri, and let's surprise the United States, who never even looks at our election, and vote for the first nurse and another Missouri woman to become a United States Senator.
This is not a joke. This is extremely, extremely important. So make sure, there's power in relational organizing. There is a small number of people in this room, but if you text 10 people tonight saying, I heard Trudy, and she set it off. So make sure that you come and vote on Tuesday. If we do that, we will increase voter turnout, and we will win this election. Yes.
Make some noise for the SLU Student Government Association. Also, I think we have representation from the Washington University Union, Student Union. Make some noise for them as well. And also make some noise for your next U.S. Senator out of Missouri, Trudy Bush Valentine. Now, listen, Mama come come out on my birthday, y'all gotta give it up, right? I got family at home cooking for me. And if you are here to make certain that we send Trudy Bush Valentine to the U.S. Senate, make some noise. Make some noise if you're gonna get Stan Page back in the office. Make some noise if you're just gonna vote Democrat down the line. For our younger voters, you are here, and that's great. But many in your age group are not. And the goal has to be, we have to become high frequency voters. Not just our seniors, not just our 30-something and 40-somethings, our younger voters who can really be the difference makers have to be high frequency voters. So let me ask you this. Who in here gets at least 5 to 10 mailers, political mailers, you know, the annoying ones? Who gets at least 5 to 10 an election cycle? I see some hands. Who gets 10 to 20 or more? Okay, so let me tell you this. Now, your goal needs to be 20 or more and beyond. Because what that means is you are a high frequency voter. It means that you're voting in every election cycle. Because when campaigns have limited funds, they have to make decisions on who they're going to target. And they're going to target the people who vote in every election. And so if you're not voting in every election, your voice is not being heard as clearly. It's not being heard as loudly. And we need to make certain that it is. So we need you to get out there. And let me tell you this. Let me share something with you. Voter turnout for 18 to 29-year-olds has maxed out. The highest it's ever been is 54%. 54%. In 2018, in the midterm elections, remember that when we turned the House? Remember that? When we turned the House? Voter turnout for 18 to 29-year-olds was 31%. And that helped us turn the House just with 31%. Exit polling showed that young voters turned key races, particularly in Nevada being one example. So when I hear people say, well, especially when I hear some of our young folks, I used to be in education, say, my vote doesn't matter. No, that's absolutely not the case. So just imagine if young voters turned out in more consistent and higher numbers. Think of what we could do in this country if we did that. And so last, who here has engaged at least 5 to 10 friends, family to get them to vote? Make some noise. So that means everyone who made some noise has engaged at least 5 to 10 people to make sure that they're going to vote, right? And have a plan. Is that right? Make some noise. Okay. Clean slate, we're starting over. We need 5 to 10 more. Okay? Can I get, hold on. If you're going to get 5 to 10 more, make some noise. Because the bottom line is, the data shows us two things particularly. 22% of newly eligible voters say they don't even know how to vote. So younger voters need more consistent engagement. It's just the facts. So we know that you're here, but we need to make sure that we get our younger voters out. We need them to turn out because they have to be more engaged. We have made a point to engage with young voters in our campaign. Because what data also shows us is that half of young voters report not even being contacted by a campaign. So we got to change those things. So we got a couple takeaways before I pass this back to Vaughn. One, you're going to make sure that you become a high frequency voter, right? Yes, sir. Make some noise if you are or will become a high frequency voter. Two, you're going to contact 5 to 10 more people to make sure they get out and vote. Make some noise if you can do that. And then last but not least, make some noise if you're going to vote like your life depends on it, because if you or a loved one has to make a health decision, a decision that impacts your life with a pregnancy that should be able to include abortion, you are voting. Your life does depend on this election. So, what are we going to do? Vote. Trudy, where you at? Come on up here. If you haven't voted early, because you can vote tomorrow, so we want you to get out there early, you're going to vote Tuesday. And then that U.S. Senate box, what was that name I kept hearing over and over? All right, let's get out, let's do it. We got more work to do. All right? All right, you gonna be my senator? Let's do it, let's do it.
I want to start off by saying that it's truly an honor to be here because my story to Missouri is that my two parents are both immigrants to this country from China, and they came to this country because they wanted to create a better life for their children. It's a story that so many of us know is so precarious and in risk. We have a radical right-wing national agenda to ban abortion across the United States, to try to take away voting rights and overturn legitimate elections. Exactly, right? And wanting to infringe on climate justice for all of our communities. And that is not the future that my parents were promised or that any of us were promised. Young people in this country know that this is fundamentally unjust. So many of us are turning out right now because we believe in reproductive freedom, in racial justice, in a higher minimum wage, in equal opportunity for people across our generation and across Missouri. And the reason why I'm speaking here today is because Trudy believes in that too. She believes in this lost American dream and restoring fundamentally the freedoms that make this country so great. And the reason why we have to send her to the Senate is because there has never been a starker difference between a candidate and her opponent. Yeah. So the two... When we're looking at the ongoing political landscape, I think we need two things going into Election Day. And the first thing that we need is hope. Because Trudy was right that a lot of people write off Missouri. There's plenty of people who are on the East Coast who are like, no, Missouri's not gonna go blue. But we're gonna surprise those people. Because of the fact that Missouri is not a monolith, we have plenty of people like the people in this room who believe in making sure that we are protecting those fundamental human rights. We have people across the state who are working to make sure that we're electing Trudy and Democrats up and down the ballot. And we're going to make sure that when November 8th comes, we have the hope and the belief that we have the power to flip this seat. Now, this is a little political science jargon because I'm a little bit of a nerd. But the research shows us that when we plan out the logistics of how we go out and vote, we're twice as likely to cast a ballot. So we need to make a plan. And secondly, like my role model, Mr. Bell said, we need to bring out our friends and our families too. When we reach out to people in our lives and tell them to go out and vote, we're far more likely to get them to turn out. And in midterm elections like these, it is turnout that is so important. We need to tell people, here's why it's so important, here's what's on the line, and here's what we are going to be fighting for. The future that Trudy is going to be bringing, not just for young people, but for people across Missouri and for people across America, is something that is worth fighting for. It's worth standing in a line. It's worth making sure that we're turning out our friends and our families, because it's so important to make sure that we're all going out and voting in this election. And lastly, we have to remember what is on the line, why this is so important, because it's not just about right now, it's about the future that we are leaving for future generations. It's about affordable access to education. It's about stopping the scourge of climate change. It's about fighting for a living wage and making sure that our unions, our farmers, and our communities are being invested in and supported across Missouri.
An standing ovation for your next United States Senator, Trudy Bush Valentine. Thank you all so much for coming out.
It's so amazing as people start coming because you're there to say, Tony, let's go to the center. Hear about getting better gun laws, red flag laws, common sense gun laws. We need to stop all over the country that are now happening in the city of St. Louis. It's really